Welcome to A Court of Transformation and Awakening. I'm Lorrie Gray.
And I'm Amanda Grace Harrison.
And in this episode, we are discussing A Court of Thorns and Roses, Chapter 38.
38.
Okay, so
The Lentils in the Ashes chapter.
right. So this one is... So again, like, it's crazy, when you read books, the way that time passes, where like we read through this in a couple of days, but there's a month between each trial. And there's a lot of time that passes. Now, she spent a big chunk of time here just like basically dying, and now she's not dying. But so here, Amarantha is giving her a series of impossible tasks that are really super not fun.
Simple cleaning tasks. This feels very familiar for I don't know, just life. Like
Just
the laundry. You do the laundry. Like, it can't already be full again. I just did the sink can't be full of dishes again. I just washed them for 45 minutes. This is her life. She's like, it's getting dirtier the more I scrub it. Damn it. This feels I can relate, Farah.
Oh my word. I hadn't even thought about that parallel. I'm like, yeah, what are the, because like there are a handful of tasks that just feel like, because they are never ending. Like you never complete them.
And there are times when I have put stuff in the laundry and I pull it out of the machine and it's literally dirtier than it went in. Like, because I use laundromats because I don't have my own laundry machine. So there's times when you're like, gosh, oh,
this is worse. Yes, we had a season when we were in an apartment. So they had like group laundry machines, and Chris had gotten me a new hoodie for Christmas. It was super cute. It's from this like company that I liked. First time we put it in the washer, it came out and the whole right arm was bleached because whoever had used the machines before us had put bleach in it. And at that point, I'm like, I'm not buying decent clothes until we have our own washer dryer.
We have our own. That's a good decision. Yeah. Or just nothing but thrift stores.
Right.
But even then, you could summon a thrift store that you really love, and then you're like, man, even though I only paid $3.99 for that, I'm never going to be able to replace it.
Right? It's not about. It's not even about the cost. It's about like, I love this thing, and what happens? What happens when it gets a hole in it? Oh my gosh! But yeah, impossible tasks. I mean, which is a good thing, by the way. Okay, so on a quality note with that, I think that there are a lot of people who are actually always stressed about their to-do list because somehow they had this idea of like, I should complete it. Yeah. And I think it was I don't know when I had that shift or who said it or where it came from, but the idea that to-do lists are never completed, but yet I had this weird pressure of like, because there were still things on my to-do list, I was somehow behind and I had to like complete my to-do list until the day I actually realized that's not ever how it works. Like you literally cannot ever fully complete a to-do list because of things like laundry and dishes stuff. Like there's always a new thing on it. And it actually really helped me like chill out about it. Like the idea that to-do lists aren't actually meant to be fully completed ever. Like it's just an ongoing reminder system and there are always supposed to be things on there. I was like, oh, okay. It helped me chill out a little bit. It helped me chill out a little bit. Yeah. Those little shifts. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but so this first task, she's supposed to scrub this dirty hallway, and then they're like, and if it's not shining, we're to tie you to the spit and give you a few good turns over the fire. Well, that's great.
Amarantha. Good one.
Great. Except for the water's dirty. There's no way to make it work. It was genuinely an impossible task.
So I like this. So first, a trail of brown muck grew with each sweep. Breathing quickly, I hurled the brush to the ground and covered my face with my wet hands. Then she lowers it because she realizes she's put the tattoo eye up against her cheek. But then 3 paragraphs later, she's still having the same issues, but now she's thinking about Claire while she's thinking about she's probably going to wail and beg for mercy when they're rotating her on the spit. She's going in all these horrible places and her hand trembles and she sets down the, I like this. Like there's like this progression of like, I'm throwing it and then I'm like, all right, I'm going to set it down. This is good. And then right then the door clicks open. I feel like she earned that by just calming herself down a little bit. And then in comes Lucien's mommy.
Oh, and this was one of those places where you just can't always know how your actions are going to, it's kind of like the butterfly effect. Like, it's not like she didn't save Lucien because she was wanting anything in return. Like, it just felt the right thing to do. But instead, so we get to meet the lady of the Autumn Court, and, she says, for giving your name in place of my son's life. And my debt is paid. So thank goodness. So she completes this task with a little bit of help. But by the way, this is like the first moment that I have a little bit of hope for the Autumn Court, because so far we've heard about Lucian's dad and his brothers, and they all seem
They're
awful.
all for crap.
So
But
we're
his
like,
mom, she seems
okay.
like a decent gal.
okay, so she's
And she
maybe okay.
smells like roasting chestnuts and crackling fires. I like her already.
Can I just smell you?
Yeah, it's a really good natural perfume. I love all the smells, by the way. Like when she's smelling, I forget, Tamlin smells like grass or something, and he's got all these spring smells. I love the smells.
That's such
I
a
wish
common.
the books were like aroma, like you open the page
And you
Tamlin
could
walks in,
smell
you're
it.
like, oh, somebody just mowed the grass. Smell it.
Which though is a conversation for those of you who don't know. There are a lot of people out there who have made candles that are meant to smell like characters and places within these stories.
That's
So if you
actually how we're here right now. If they hadn't done that, that was my third sign from the universe that I was supposed to read these. Is I was looking for my smells like Adam Driver candle that I was going to buy myself for my birthday, and instead what came up was smells like Cassian, and I was like, who the heck is Cassian? And look at it, and it says, whatever, the general of the night court or whatever. I'm like, and it said in a court of thorns. I'm like, wait, that's the book that Lorrie told me to read, and then Jill told me to read, and all right, that's 3 signs from the universe. I'm reading these books.
yeah,
There's
it's super
candles
fun.
for every character.
There's candles for
and
all
every
the
court.
things.
There's
So many.
everything.
It's super fun. So if you're a smell person, and it's funny, I feel like I don't actually have a very strong sense of smell. Now, part of it, again, all the different romantasy books that I read, because so many of them are not human, they have elevated senses, an elevated sense of smell, and so everybody having a unique scent and things like that that's more like animalistic than what humans actually do. But I don't know, like I don't have a very strong sense of smell, so it's hard for me to relate to that, but I like the idea of it. And they describe it and I'm like, I can't even really imagine what that smells like, but okay, it's fine.
I like the idea.
I like the idea of it.
I definitely like the smoked chestnuts and crackling fires. That's a really good one.
It's such a good one.
And
Okay.
you'll meet Cassian in book 2, by the way. He's quite fun.
He's quite fun. Okay, so so she gets that done, but then the next day she gets a new task where they shove her in a room and tell her to get spilled lentils out of the ash of the fireplace, which she recognizes is ridiculous, like a thing that doesn't even need to be done. But this time, if she doesn't do it, they're going to, not him, clean it up before the occupant returns, or he'll peel your skin off in strips, or peel off your skin in strips.
He sounds like fun.
He sounds like a good whoever this occupant is. And I think it was interesting watching her work through this, because her first thing is like, this is absolutely impossible. This is not going to work at all.
And then she starts noticing, she's like, wait, I have keen eyes.
I have keen eyes.
I can spot rabbits hiding in the underbrush and track most things. Spotting lentils can't be that hard.
Yep.
Of course, there are lentils in ashes, so I think her hope there may have been a little, overly optimistic, but I love that she does that, that she's like, all right, turn around. She's like, I can do this.
Exactly. Yep. She was like, and for somebody who always thinks harshly of herself all the time, the fact that she was like, okay,
Yeah.
I have this skill set. Maybe it will serve me. I can do this. And like the fact that she tells herself, I have a skill, I can do this, is probably why she's able to take some action and not be like completely paralyzed. But then I have to crack up because the very next line was, I was wrong.
I was wrong. 2 hours later. Yeah, she's just... I honestly don't understand why she doesn't just sweep all of the ashes out of the fireplace. Did anyone else have that thought? I'm like, well, if you got to get... Why do you have to leave some ashes in there that don't have lentils? Why do you only have to pull out the lentils? Why can't you just sweep the whole... I didn't understand that part. But I always suspend disbelief for the sake of entertainment. So it's a book. I was like, all right, there's some reason why she needs to...
Yeah, because I mean, all they said was clean it up. Yeah, and then she goes to sorting them. I guess they didn't actually say sort them. They just said clean it up.
This might be an example of where we make things way harder on ourselves than they need to be. Maybe they were just thinking she'll make something hard of this, but really maybe it wasn't that hard. Maybe it didn't have to be 2 hours of sorting.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I did not even point that out. I'm going back. I'm like, no. Didn't they say she had to sort it? They don't. Servants spilled lentils in the ash. One of the guards grunted, tossing me a wooden bucket. Clean it up before the occupant returns. They didn't actually say. Then she goes to like sorting them out. But yeah, could she have just scooped every single bit of all the ashes up and put it in the bucket?
Know. We can't even if we invented time machine, we can't time travel because this wasn't a real thing that ever happened. Damn it.
Oh my word. Okay, that's super interesting. So she may have been, which I mean, again, we have alluded to this before, where when your life is threatened, it's not conducive to clear thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, before this person arrives, is that in 2 minutes or 2 hours or 2 days? And if I don't, he's going to peel the skin from my body.
She's
like,
just panicking again.
yeah. And again, it is, and those of us who live in that state, again, it is really hard to think clearly. Okay, so.
And I love that she keeps like stopping the work to grab the iron poker because she hears
Just in
somebody
case.
coming. Yeah.
Just getting ready.
Feyre.
It is very Feyre. And she's like, yep, well, they never said anything about not fighting back. So here we go. At least she's going to go. She's like, at least I'd go down swinging. You got to love that. All right. But the lock clicks and guess who enters? Dun, dun, dun. I love here. As wonderful as it is to see you, Feyre darling, which we repeat all the time. It's hard for us not to say Feyre without saying Feyre darling.
Feyre darling.
Right?
Do I want to know why you're digging through my fireplace? As he sprawls himself out on the bed. I now, the more I read these books, and especially these scenes, I'm terrified too, but at the same time, I would love to meet somebody who's this terrifying and this beautiful, but also like has a great sense of humor and this interesting personality. It's like he's such an interesting mix, and that's just terrifying. And also it's so casual, which also makes it terrifying, but
it is super interesting. Yeah, his thing right here of like, okay, do I even want to know? And he's like, well, they said I had to do it or you're going to rip my skin off. He's like, did they now?
Did they now?
And she's assuming this is his idea, but she's like, or like part of the bargain. But he's saying no. So.
Yes, no one knows about their little bargain yet. He's keeping that to himself until the perfect moment.
Yeah.
And he knows that she's feeling ashamed of it. It says, shame riding you a bit hard.
Right. Oh, yeah. So he's quite insightful here. But then this is an interesting thing too. So like you said, this character is, we're already getting, there's little breadcrumbs that there is more going on here. And we already have this idea that like he likes to play games. We're not sure what the game is that he's playing within the court. But he's saying apparently they think I'm going to find some sport with you. Almost like here's my reward because maybe I'll have some fun. She's like, or it's a test. Because he bet on her during this first task, and Amarantha was not pleased about it. And she's like, well, what could she have to test me about? It's like, well, you lied to her. You lied about Claire. You knew very well what I look like. And so she gets this, that like all this thing about like all humans look alike. She knows for sure every bit of that was a lie. She doesn't know why, but she's kind of fishing here for answers. Yeah, so he gives an answer, a very vague one. Amarantha plays her games, and I play mine. Gets rather boring down here day after day. And he plays it off as like boredom.
Yeah.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
But I do know that he's admitting that he's playing games. So it's just going to keep us guessing. So we have no idea.
Yeah, and he just says, I had my reasons. But this other phrase, like, do not think, Feyre, that it did not cost me. We don't know exactly what that means, but we know that there's more going on here. Yeah, we just learn a lot in this conversation about why he has so much more power, a little bit more about the High Lords, and we get to see him shift. We learn that that's a thing that all High Lords can do. His is quite different. He's not a fuzzy horned beast. He's got bat wings and claws.
Talons.
Like a bat's wings.
I love this. When she sees him, she's like, I had made a very, very big mistake in offering my life to him. It was a little bit like a demon, like a physical form of a demon that I was raised to believe in, and now she realizes that she's made a deal with the devil, basically.
Yeah, everything on the surface here. Yeah, she's like, the one thing he reminds her of is the adder's wings. Like this is bat wings, talons, claws. I mean, as much as Tamlin's form was scary because it was big, she was able to make a joke about like brushing his fur. Where this is bat wings. This is different. This is the stuff of nightmares. and she reacts to it differently.
And I love this. Only around him did I have trouble keeping my mouth shut, it seemed. It's the most terrifying person and the one who, for some reason, gets under her skin to the point where she just can't not be a smartass and belligerent around it all the time.
Because that was the thing that stood out to me, like when she was back in the spring court, that sometimes they would ask her questions and she would just give one-word answers and say nothing. And I admired that because I'm like, if I'm uncomfortable, I verbally vomit all over the place. So I actually felt better here. I'm like, okay, so she has situations too where she can't keep her mouth shut.
Can I not just stop talking?
Okay. So here though, she also asks about the riddle. He lets her know that he can't tell her. And then he snaps his fingers and Ash is gone, clean. And he says it's a gift, for even having the balls to ask. And he cleans up the lentils. He does all the things. Everything was spotless. The bucket's filled with the lentils. And just in time, because then the guards come back and he's like, she accomplished her task. Take her back.
And goes so far as to, I guess he's like he's like kind of mind melding them.
He's messing
like,
with,
he's spelling them so that they will, now her life will change pretty dramatically because she's been doing household chores all day, every day. And
terrifying ones.
Yeah. And now they're under pretty good,
he's like,
you touch her, you're to take your own daggers and cut yourselves, understood? So that's cool.
Yep,
She's got this new form of protection.
Yeah. So like as they went to grab her. Yeah. And this is again, one of those interesting things of like, what's in it for him, but no more chores, no more tasks. Don't touch her, stay out of her cell. Like really. Yeah. So she's like glamour, mind control, whatever it was. She was like, it worked. So they beckoned, but they didn't touch her. So
you're welcome.
Good thing, because I mean, how many favors can you call? She got lucky that it was his room. She got lucky with Lucien's mom. But if you keep being given impossible tasks, there's going to be a limit to this. So he puts an end to this. This is another place where how much he saved her from in this moment, we're not quite sure. We don't know why he did it. We know it's probably a lot more than. Well, we know for sure this is not out of the kindness of his heart. But regardless, this person who is terrifying and scary once again has saved her. Dun dun dun. Dun, dun, dun. Interesting things happening. What would we say? The plot thickens. The plot thickens.
And there you have it, guys. That's
Chapter
38.
38.
Thanks for joining us today, guys. And if you haven't already, please head over to our community at ACOTAR, ACOTA.circle.so, where you can join in on the fun. And hopefully, one day you'll feel up to the vulnerable task of jumping into one of our shared transformational adventures. We'll see you there.
Bye, guys. Bye.